Want to speak English every day? Let's practice real English together. Let's go!
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Fluent Pod Channel. Before we begin, we'd like to invite you to take a quick moment to subscribe to our channel, like this episode, and share it with someone who's also learning English. Your support truly helps us reach more learners around the world and continue creating calm, real, and practical English content. Now, let's get started. This is Fluent Pod Channel, the place where learning English is not a task, but a fun, calm, and relaxing part of your day. I'm Emma.
And hi everyone. A big warm welcome to all our friends listening from all around the world. I'm Liam. Emma, I have to say, I'm feeling really energized today. Coffee in hand, mind awake, and honestly just happy to be here sharing this moment with everyone. There's something special about knowing people are listening while they're living their daily lives, commuting, walking, working, or just relaxing.
I love that energy, Liam, and it's perfect for today because what we're talking about touches every English learner at some point in their journey, no matter where you're from, how old you are, or how long you've been studying. Today, we're talking about daily English speaking practice, real English, natural English, the kind of English people actually use every single day in real life.
Exactly. Not the English that only exists in textbooks or exams. Not the English that feels correct, but sounds a little unnatural. We're talking about the English you hear in conversations, in messages, at work meetings, in cafes, on social media. Real situations, real moments. And before we really start teaching, I think it's important that we slow down for a second and talk about something very real that many listeners are probably feeling right now.
Yes, the pain, that uncomfortable feeling when you realize you understand English, but you don't feel confident speaking it. You study for months, sometimes for years. You watch videos, listen to podcasts, read articles. You understand grammar, you recognize vocabulary, but when it's time to speak, something blocks you.
Your mind suddenly goes blank. Your heart beats faster. You start translating word by word in your head. You worry about choosing the right tense, the right word, the right pronunciation. You feel slow, insecure, and sometimes even embarrassed. And then that very frustrating question appears. Why can't I speak if I study so much?
And that question hurts because it makes you doubt yourself. It makes you think you're doing something wrong or that English is just not for you. But if you're listening to this and thinking, wow, that's exactly me, we want you to know something very important right now. You are not alone, and you are not bad at English.
This experience is extremely common among English learners all over the world. We hear this story again and again, and it doesn't mean you lack intelligence, talent, discipline, or motivation. Most of the time, it simply means one thing. You don't have enough daily speaking practice with real, natural English.
Because language is not just information. Language is not just grammar rules or vocabulary lists. Language is a habit. It's something you build through repetition, exposure, and use.
Exactly. You don't learn to speak by studying only. You learn to speak by using English again and again, little by little, in real situations. And when we say daily practice, we don't mean studying for hours every day or feeling overwhelmed. No pressure here.
Daily practice can be simple. It can be listening to English while you're walking, cooking, or commuting. It can be repeating one sentence out loud. It can be describing your day in your head. It can be thinking in English for a few minutes instead of translating everything. Small actions done consistently.
And when you do that, something very interesting starts to happen. English stops feeling like a foreign object. It starts to feel familiar, comfortable, natural.
And that moment when English starts to feel normal is where real fluency begins. Not perfect fluency, not fast fluency, but comfortable fluency.
That's why today we're focusing on daily English, the small, powerful words and expressions people use all the time. Words that don't look difficult on paper, but that make a huge difference in how natural your English sounds when you speak.
Let's start with a very common word that native speakers use constantly. Actually. People use actually to clarify something, to gently correct an idea, or to emphasize what they really mean.
For example, you can say, "I actually like working in the morning," or "I actually thought it was going to be hard, but it was easy." It's such a small word, but wow, it completely changes the tone of the sentence.
And when learners start using words like actually, they often feel more confident because the sentence feels more complete, more real, more natural.
And that matters because confidence doesn't come from speaking perfect English. Confidence comes from feeling that the words are flowing instead of being forced.
And this is just the beginning, because once you understand how these small daily words work, you start noticing them everywhere, in conversations, in podcasts, in videos, and even in your own speech.
And when that awareness starts to grow, daily English speaking practice becomes easier, lighter, and honestly, much more enjoyable. You're no longer trying to sound perfect. You're simply trying to communicate.
So let's continue with another very common one. Actually, let us hear. And now we have basically. People use basically to summarize or explain something in a simple way.
You might hear someone say, "Basically, we just need to finish this task before lunch." Or, "Basically, it's a new way to communicate." And honestly, I love this word because it gives you time to think. It's like your brain saying, "Okay, let me organize this."
Yes, exactly. And that's such an important point, Liam. Many learners think they need to speak fast, but native speakers don't speak fast all the time. They speak comfortably. Words like basically help your speech flow without pressure.
And then there's honestly, one of my favorite words, because it shows emotion. When you say honestly, you're opening the door to who you really are. You might say, "Honestly, I was very nervous," or "Honestly, this helped me a lot."
And wow, that small word changes everything. Language is not only about information, it's about connection. And honestly makes your English feel human. It shows vulnerability, and people connect with that.
You'll also hear expressions like kind of or sort of all the time. Native speakers use them to soften what they say or to sound more natural. For example, "I'm kind of tired today," or "It's sort of difficult, but not impossible." And honestly, once you start paying attention, you'll hear these expressions everywhere.
Yes. And when learners begin using kind of or sort of, something interesting happens. Their English suddenly sounds less rigid, less robotic. It starts to sound like real conversation. And that's usually when they stop and think, Wow, I actually sound better now.
Exactly. And another favorite is pretty. In daily English, pretty often means very. You can say, I'm pretty happy with the result, or it's pretty easy once you try. And learners are always a little surprised by this one.
Yes, they always say, really? Pretty? But that's how language works in real life. And when you start using words like these naturally, something amazing happens. Your English stops sounding stiff. It stops sounding translated. It starts sounding real.
And this is where daily practice really solves that pain we talked about earlier. The fear of speaking doesn't disappear because you learn more grammar rules or memorize more words. It disappears because you get comfortable using English in real situations again and again.
Exactly. Comfort comes from repetition, from hearing the same patterns repeatedly, from realizing that communication is possible even when the sentence isn't perfect.
Mistakes are part of the process. Everyone makes mistakes, even native speakers, all the time. And this surprises many learners. Native speakers forget words, change sentences in the middle, correct themselves, and just keep going. What really stops progress is silence, not speaking, waiting to be perfect. That's the real danger.
And daily English speaking practice teaches you something very important that many courses don't explain clearly. Fluency is not speed. Fluency is comfort. It's feeling relaxed when you speak. It's being able to express yourself even when you pause, even when you choose the wrong word, even when you stop and say, wait, let me try again.
And wow, when learners understand this, something clicks. The pressure disappears, the fear becomes smaller, and suddenly, speaking English doesn't feel like a test anymore. It feels like communication.
That shift is powerful because when English stops feeling like a performance, it starts feeling like a tool to share ideas, stories, opinions, and emotions.
And today, without even noticing, you practiced real English with us. You didn't just listen to explanations. You heard natural conversations. You heard how these words fit into real speech. You learned how common words are used naturally, not in theory, but in context.
And that's how learning really happens. Not by memorizing long lists of words, but by hearing language in action, by noticing patterns, by feeling the rhythm of English again and again until it feels normal.
You probably noticed how small words like actually, basically, honestly, kind of, or pretty can completely change how natural a sentence sounds.
And that's powerful because it shows you that fluency is built with simple things done consistently, not complicated rules, not perfect sentences, just real usage every day.
You also learned something very important today, and maybe this is the most important lesson of all. The problem was never you.
Never. The problem was the method. And once the method changes, everything changes. Your mindset shifts. Your confidence grows. Your relationship with English becomes lighter and more positive.
Instead of asking, why can't I speak? You start asking, how can I practice a little today?
And that question changes everything because the solution is simple, human, and achievable. Daily exposure, daily listening, daily speaking, real English every day.
Small steps, no pressure, no rush, just consistency.
And when you practice like this, confidence grows naturally, comfort grows naturally. English slowly becomes part of your daily life, not something separate, not something scary.
If you're listening right now and thinking, I want to speak English but I'm scared, we want you to know this feeling is normal. Everyone goes through this stage. You're not behind, you're not late.
And more importantly, this stage is temporary. With the right practice, fear turns into familiarity. Familiarity turns into comfort, and comfort turns into fluency.
So whether you're commuting, working, walking, or just relaxing right now, remember this moment.
Remember that you are capable of learning English in a calm, natural way.
Remember that every minute you spend listening and practicing matters.
Keep listening every day.
Keep practicing every day.
Keep speaking even when it feels uncomfortable.
And most importantly, keep believing in yourself.
This was Fluent Pod Channel.
We'll see you in the next episode.
Bye, everyone.